So we're still going through the series on the person Moses. And from what we've been reading, God comes to Moses and he responds, "Here I am," right? "Here I am." And last week, God called Moses to go back to Egypt. And instead of a full submission to God's call, he responds with a series of excuses of not to go. Excuses why he should not go. His excuses was the bulk of our sermon last week, highlighting how people respond to God's call incorrectly. When fleeing from God's call, people would give outlandish excuses to try and get away. And those excuses usually they are not qualified. They're not qualified. Or they'll say, like, they don't know enough. I don't know enough. What if they ask me this? What if they ask me that? Or they'll say, like, they won't be able to do the job well, and they're just afraid. They're not competent in who they are. Or they're not good enough. Like, I'm not even a pastor. I'm not a missionary. I'm not this. I'm not that. Why do you expect me to go do this or do that? Right? So I'm not good enough. And then the fifth one is there are more qualified people. Like, why don't you go ask one of the elders to go do it? Why does it have to be me? What about this other person? Just pick anyone else besides me. And finally, and I'm glad we didn't end the sermon on that, picking someone else, but rather, we concluded with a glimpse of hope, saying that trusting and submitting to God's call completely is the proper answer to true obedience. See, there is God, and there is truth, and there is the calling, and then there is however. However is a moment right before we either nod yes to God or we say nope to God. However is one word. It is a spiritual space between command and obedience. A however moment in time, it is our space, our thoughts, our decision. It's a pause that God has granted us. A moment to say, God, like, I know you're God. I know you're the creator of the world. I know you can do this, you can do that, you can do whatever you want. However, let me think about your request first before I respond to you. Wow. What a wonderful God to allow that moment just for us to respond to him. Can you imagine if you did that to your boss? Your boss like, "Hey, I need that report done tonight." "Boss, that's a great idea. However, let me think about it." Your boss will be like, "I don't need you. Get out of here," right? But we don't give that response to God. We don't go, "Okay, yes, sir. Yes, boss, I'll get it to you right away." But with God, when God's calling us, we go, "God, that's a great idea, but however, let me give you a series of excuses." And that was Moses' however moment when he was giving all those excuses. Giving all those excuses to God. And I believe God gave us that grace because God is such a relational God. He's willing to wait for your response. Moses saw the burning bush. He heard the name of God, and he heard God calling him. "I need you to go to Egypt." And he responds with a however. And he delays his response. He delays his obedience. He delays his answers to God. Well, thank God Moses did eventually respond. And we see Moses respond correctly to God's call. And that is the main point of today's sermon. True obedience respond to God's call with faith and action. True obedience responds to God's call with faith and action. And there are 6 steps to consider when you put your faith into action. The first step is true obedience to God's call does not despise human relationships. The first step, true obedience to God's call, does not despise human relationship. The second step, true obedience to God's call, requires loving others. The second requires loving others. And then the third step is true obedience to God's call will experience unexpected peace. Unexpected peace. The fourth step, true obedience to God's call will see his sovereignty after surrender. Sovereignty after surrender. The fifth step is true obedience to God's call will impact your whole family. Will impact your whole family. And final, the sixth step, true obedience to God's call will carry his presence with you all the time. Exodus chapter 4, verse 18 through 20 reads, Then Moses departed and returned to his father-in-law Jethro and said to him, Please let me go, that I may return to my brothers who are in Egypt and see if they are still alive. And Jethro said to Moses, Go in peace. Now the Lord said to Moses and Midian, Go back to Egypt, for all the men who were seeking your life are dead. So Moses took his wife and his sons and mounted them on a donkey and returned to the land of Egypt. Moses also took the staff of God in his hand. Let me pray for us. God, we come before you. We want to surrender everything to you. May we not delay our response to you, but Lord, you love us so much because each one of us was created uniquely, personally by you, Lord. And you love us so much to allow us that moment to make that decision. And so, God, I just want to lift up this day to you. And the words that are being preached today may be yours. May they hear you. May your spirit move in them. They may commit to you. We ask all this in your Son's name. Jesus Christ, pray, Lord. Amen. Okay. You know, I caught up with an old friend from college, and he has 2 boys, and his oldest son is studying meteorologist, right? Is that a degree, meteorologist? Right. He's studying to be a weatherman, and it was fascinating. I'm like, he's the first person that I've met that is becoming a meteorologist or a weather guy, right? And I asked him the question. I know what question you guys are thinking of, right? The one questions that we all are asking. I asked him. I was like, hey, you're studying being a meteorologist. Let me ask you just one question. Are chemtrails real? Are chemtrails real? Anyone know chemtrails are? Anyone? No? Okay, let me explain chemtrails, okay? So he said they're real, all right? So chemtrail, if you look outside, if you even Google it, YouTube it, you'll see a bunch of stuff on. If you go outside, you see an airplane flying, and it has a bunch of white smoke behind, that's chemtrail. They are manipulating the atmosphere. They're forcing it to rain. They're injecting carbon dioxide or whatever they're forcing in. There's a bunch of chemicals in there into the atmosphere so that it would generate a rain or generate a storm or whatever. And I wish they did it today because it would have snowed. Right? It would have snowed today. We would have had snow, and it would have been chaos, and we would have had Snowmageddon like a couple years ago. And we would have celebrated as if it was Christmas in January, right? Down in the South, we love the snow. We love the thought of snow. It gives us peace. It gives us, we get a stay home moment. Anyways, I asked about the chemtrails because of what happened last year. What happened last year in Asheville, North Carolina? The rain kept coming, and in my mind, I just kept thinking chemtrails, right? They're making it rain up there. And the rains kept coming in Asheville. And all these homes that were up in the mountains, like you imagine, they would never flood. There's no way they would flood. But for some reason, they flooded. Homes in the mountains flooded. That's just crazy. They got flooded. You see, when we're in the middle of a storm, when we're in the middle of a disaster, when your house is burning or your house is going down, and a simple truth speaks to you, there's no time for a however moment. There's no time for a, let me think about it. If it's your dad or is whoever, the head of household comes out, it's time to go. Let's go. Let's go. Where are we going? There's no like, why are we going? Dad, why are we going? When are we going? No. When that voice kicks in, you simply listen to that voice. Do as it commands. Just grab your stuff and go. Grab your stuff and go in the middle of a storm. See, Moses was in the middle of a spiritual storm in his life. At first, he wrestled with it. He wrestled with fear. He wrestled with excuses, with hesitations. And he has stared at the burning bush and heard the voice of God. And he knew the call was real. And he had to grab his stuff and go. And in chapter 4, verse 18 to 20, as we read earlier, we finally see the first step of obedience from Moses. And Moses begins to move. He's ready. He's going. But when he did it, he didn't do it out of disregard for people he knew. It wasn't like a move out of the way, push you out of the way, not it's all about me, myself, and I, right? He thought about the people in his life. His first step to true obedience to God's call was honoring human relationships. Honoring human relationships. So we read this in the scripture, verse 18a. Then Moses departed and returned to his father-in-law, Jethro, and said to him. See, before Moses confronts Pharaoh, before Moses picks up the staff, before he sees the sea depart and splits up, he goes to his father-in-law, the one person that's in front of him. And it's not a glamorous, awesome, miraculous. It was a quiet, intimate moment. See, the word departed, then Moses departed, it is more than what we think, more than what we realize. It's not just Moses finally feeling like he's ready. It's not a emotional, like, I'm ready to go. It's not a like spiritual high, adrenaline, like, we got to do this. But the word departed was a intentional commitment, a directional commitment to go. It was planned to go. Moses didn't wait until the fear was gone. He didn't wait for anything. After that, he went down to his father-in-law. See, Moses doesn't sneak away at night like, oh, God just spoke to me. I got to go. Honey, let's go right now. They got to go. No. He actually goes back to his father-in-law. It doesn't have to be your father-in-law. It could be anyone in your life that has a spiritual authority, that has authority over you. It might be your older brother. Like you look to him like a father figure. It might be your older sister. Might be your parents. Might be your grandparents. Might be someone, your pastor, anyone. Like, hey, you know what? God just revealed something to me. want to come ask you first. Ask you first. That's the first step to true obedience to God's call, is to honor the human relationships in your life. The human relationships in your life. So think of it this way. When you were told to evacuate because of that storm, like, don't just disappear. You have friends and family close by. And we've heard stories from our parents, like, when the war broke out, like, I don't know where my brother went. He just gone. Or when things happen, it's like, where's so-and-so? We've been looking for you. Oh, I took off already. Like, there was a fire and I took off. Like, well, what about us? We were waiting for you. We were looking for you. That's true obedience to God's call, is to honor the human relationships that you have before you. Sometimes the first step of obedience isn't so dramatic, right? It's simply just turning around and having that conversation with someone, that person in your life. Like, hey, Dad, God's calling me into ministry. Just give him that honor. Or, hey, honey, let's start going to church again. Acknowledge your significant other. Hey, babe, no more Korean barbecue, right? Like, just let them know. Just let them know. See, Moses has done the hard work of obedience. He's turned back. He has honored his relationship. But what Moses says next teaches us a crucial moment of how faith speaks to you. Verse 18b, Moses says this to his father-in-law, please let me go, that I may return to my brothers who are in Egypt and see if they are still alive. See, if you listen closely, you'll notice something about how Moses worded his phrase to Jethro. See, Moses doesn't tell Jethro, his father-in-law, everything. He doesn't go giving him all the details. There's this, hey, Dad, there was this burning bush, and it started talking to me, and then I started thinking of all these things. No, he just goes and tells his father-in-law, I got to go, and I'm thinking about my brothers. When you limit the things you say, there's true wisdom there. You're just not blurting it all out. God didn't ask Moses to explain everything to Jethro. God just said, Moses, you got to go. And Moses simply went up to Jethro and said, I got to go. I got to go. This is something I'm learning myself. I have a hard time not explaining everything, like the chemtrails, right? You guys want to know more about chemtrails? I started thinking about that way back when I was in California. That's in the 90s. I saw these airplanes flying by. I'm like, cool, that airplane's making clouds. And 40 years later, it's finally confirmed, right? But it doesn't give all the details. Just tell exactly what you have to do. And so what Moses does tell his father-in-law is about his brothers. What does that tell us? Please let me go, that I may return to my brothers who are in Egypt and see if they are still alive. His love for his people have not changed. 40 years raising sheep, and he's still thinking about his brothers. You all know that. You have your buddies from back in the days, and you're thinking, I wonder how they're doing. I wonder if they're good. You still have that love for them because maybe they're your boys or they're your girls. You grew up with them, and you're thinking about them. I need to go back to them. I need to go back to them. And that is our second step to true obedience. God calls us. The call of God requires loving others. Loving others is not about yourself. It's not about just, I'm going to feel great. I'm super spiritual. I'm going to be on my knees praying all the time because that's who I am. No, it's not about you. When God is calling you, it's about the people. It's about the other person. St. Augustine, he's a philosopher and a Christian theologian. And he taught that obedience flows from rightly ordered love. Ordio amores. Ordio amores is when love is rightly ordered and truth is spoken rightly. You see, if you guys went to the funeral yesterday, Sifu Van Tu, our senior pastor that retired, he preached on loving each other from 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Love is patient. Love is kind. And he said some things I'm just like, wow, that's a real good gold nugget to chew on. He said, you can have patience, but no love. But if you have love, you will always have patience. Like, wow, you're right. And he said, you can be kind all you want to everyone, but have no love. You can be kind and still have no love. But if you have love, you will always have kindness. It's like, wow. And so here Moses loves God. This is why he's leaving. Here Moses loves his family appropriately, Jethro. And he speaks to him with honor and dignity. Make sure before he leaves, if you guys gone to a Hmong house, right? And if you're just pick up and leave, that's kind of rude, right? You have to go and shake almost every person's hand and say, we're going to go, okay? I'll see you later. All right, we're going to go. I'll see you later. Just give them that dignity, honor, and respect. And he loves his mission obediently. That's why he needs to go. That's why he needs to go. That's the second step to true obedience. God calls acts on loving others. You know, sometimes it's not everything you know. And love requires that. To love the other person. Like earlier, right? Hey, Dad, God is calling me into ministry because there are a lot of people out there needing the gospel. People out there needing the gospel. It's about them. Hey, honey, let's start going to church. I need to be a better person and lead our family spiritually. So I can lead them spiritually. So when you're like all yucky inside, having all these evil thoughts, I can help you, intercede with you, pray for you. Hey, babe, no more Korean barbecue for me. I'm getting thick around the neck, all right? That double chin, that triple chin is kicking in. I'm thinking about my health. I'm thinking about my family. Moses has spoken carefully. Not everything to Jethro, but enough for Jethro to know. And he's aligned his wordings with love and care. And so there's this risk that he has to involve people, because when he leaves, there's people that he's responsible for. And sometimes the greatest confirmation doesn't come from somewhere from the heavens or whatever, but it's right in front of you. It's right in front of you when you make that commitment. And we see it in verse 18c. And Jethro said to Moses, go in peace. Go in peace. Those are simple words from a priest man, but those words are heavy. Peace here is shalom. Shalom is not silence. It is not absence of conflict, but it is wholeness. There's a blessing there. Go in peace. You are aligned with God. Go in peace. See, Jethro is not just giving Moses permission to go, but Jethro is releasing him. Yes, go. You are free to go. You can go. Go in peace. Because this is the man that allowed Moses to marry his daughter. This is the man that took care of Moses, not raised him, but took care of Moses while he was in need, protecting him. And now he's releasing him. If someone took you in their arms and helped you get you back on your feet, you feel this indebtedness to him or to her. And you feel like, I owe you my life. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And I'm going to have to leave you. And that person says, go. You're good to go. There's a big relief off your shoulders. Like, you're right. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And there's no thunder. There's no fire. There's nothing. But just go in peace. That's the third step, right? True obedience to God's call will experience unexpected peace. When you've been free from that, there's that sense of peace. The Spirit of God just communicating to you. You're good to go. Thank you, Dad. You know, I hear a lot of the church members saying, hey, Pastor, you're doing a good job. Doing a good job. Those words mean so much to me. When you are putting your sweat and your strength and your energy and your ideas into something, and someone comes and say, that looks pretty good. You're like, thank you. I worked so hard for that. Yes, I agree. You baked that bread, that sourdough bread, and it smells so good, and you put all the right ingredients in there, and it comes out, and someone's like, I smell that. That's so good. The taste is even better. You're like, thank you. Thank you. There's that sense of peace, like, yes, I accomplished something. Thank you for that. See, peace is not a permission. It's not a permission to do things. Peace is a confirmation. Like, you're right. This is the right thing to do. This is the right thing to do. See, this peace is powerful. This peace is astronomical, is powerful. And oftentimes we assume that following God, we must like fracture relationship and cut you off. And I can't be with my sinner brothers anymore, or sinner sisters anymore. I can't hang out with you guys anymore because like God's calling me to be separated, be holy. No. There's peace there. Hey, Dad, God is calling me into ministry because there are lost people out there needing the gospel. And Dad's response, yes, I agree with you. People need the gospel. Go for it. Thank you, Dad. Hey, honey, let's start going to church. I need to be a better person and lead our family spiritually. And then your honey says, I will follow you. Thank you. Right? Hey, babe. No more Korean barbecue. No more Korean barbecue. I'm getting thick around the neck. I need to lose some weight. And then the babe says, it's okay, honey. We'll go get some pho, right? No pho. Yes, hon. Let's try to stay healthy. Let's try to stay healthy. And those are Jethro's words. No pressure. No resistance. Just peace. Go in peace, Moses. And sometimes the grace of God shows up not by pushing us forward, but gently releasing us to go where he already called us to go. You're good to go. And that's when the journey truly begins for you. You just started. Now you're going to go to Egypt. See, Moses has peace He has been released, and his vision, his purpose has been aligned with God. But that doesn't mean the fear disappears. You're still going to face those giants. Moses still has to think about Egypt, about all the soldiers there, on the Pharaoh that's there. He's still got to think about his past, the people that he's hurt, the people that he's done wrong to. Or what about the people that wants Moses dead? There's those people that are there too. But it's after the fact that when you committed to God, that God would speak to you again. Like, yes, God, I'll go wherever you want me to go. Now the Lord said to Moses in Midian, go back to Egypt, for all the men who were seeking your life are dead. They are dead. Notice the timing of God's wording to Moses after the fact of committing. Okay, God, I've told my father-in-law, I've committed to you, I'm going back. Okay, great. You know what? Those people that are trying to kill you, they're dead already. They're gone. You're good to go now. That is the fourth step in true obedience. True obedience to God calls to true obedience to God's call will see his sovereignty after the surrender. We will see God's provision. We will see God's love for us. We will see that God's lined it all up for us. And there's this, I was listening to radio, wow, watching YouTube or somewhere on social media, and they're like, when God is calling you, he's going to bring heaven down to make sure you finish that work. He's going to split the sea. He's going to do everything that he needs so that you would accomplish that goal. He's not this half-hearted God that's going to say, go ahead, go. I'll just watch, right? No, if he's got a plan for you, he will help see you through it. He will be right there with you. The fourth step, right? True obedience to God's call will see his sovereignty after the surrender. And God walking with you, as our theme last year, walking with Jesus, God is discipling you. He's training you, teaching you to be more like him, to be more like his son. And Jesus does the same thing. He took the fisherman, the tax collector, the sinners, and he just tell them, follow me. And they just follow him. They just follow him. And then he'll train them. Imagine that we're back at that storm, right? We're up in Asheville or wherever, and the house is coming down, and we're moving out of the house away from the storm, and Dad's like, let's go. It's time to go. And we're like, all right, let's go. We grab our stuff, we get into the car, and we're driving. We're driving because we don't know if our house is going to get wiped out or not, but it's right there in the flood zone area. And we're driving, and all of a sudden the radio comes on. The radio's like, the water has receded. There's no more flood. And you're like, yes, thank you, God. Thank you for taking care of us. That is true obedience, which is in faith and in action. See, God has spoken to Moses, told him to not fear. The road is clear for you, Moses. And you just have to go. Go and do it. And Moses did it. But how does this faith in action look like? He's ready to go. He's going to go. Verse 28. So Moses took his wife and his sons and mounted them on a donkey and returned to the land of Egypt. See, this is the moment where obedience becomes real. Like, it's not just all theories anymore. It's not just all ideas anymore. He picked up his wife. Honey, sit on the donkey. Son, daughter, sit on the donkey. We're going back to Egypt. It just got real, right? It just got real. It's no more a God talk to me, God speaking to me. It's a, hey, honey, I think we have to go. We're going to go. It just got real to where, like, pack up your bags. We're going. That's how real it was with Moses and his wife and his children. That's the next step, right? See, it's like this, like, hey, Dad, God is calling me into ministry because there are lost people out there needing the gospel. And Dad's response is, yes, I agree with you. People need the gospel. Go for it. And then you go, all my things are packed, and I'm headed to seminary. Hey, honey, let's start going to church. I need to be a better person and lead our family spiritually. And then the honey says, I will follow you. I will follow you. And then it's Sunday, and you're getting ready to come to church. You're dressed up. It's your faith in action. Hey, babe, no more Korean barbecue for me. I'm getting kind of thick around the neck, right? And then babe's like, okay, let's get pho, right? No, just kidding. Let's try to stay healthy. Okay. And then you guys start walking, start exercising together. It's your faith in action. See, Moses doesn't send his family behind him. He doesn't wait for them or say, stay here with Dad. Let me just go take care of this. But he takes his whole family with him. Because the fifth step, true obedience to God's call will impact your whole family. It will impact everyone around you. Whether you're saying, I'm going to be praying more, or whether you're saying, I'm going to be reading the Bible more, or whether you're saying, I need to get up and go to seminary. I need to answer this call. Whatever God is calling you to do, it will impact your family. It will impact the people around you. Because your life will be transformed. It will be changed. And they're going to look at you like, something's different about you. Something's new about you. It will impact them. That's the fifth step, right? True obedience to God's call will impact your whole family. And so Moses takes the journey back to Egypt. He is moved from his father. He's involved his family. Everyone's on that road trip back home to Egypt. But faith is not only about where we're going, but it's also about what we carry. See, when God calls you, He's never going to leave you empty-handed. He's going to redeem you. He's going to transform you. He's going to be with you. And that is the sixth and our final step for today. True obedience to God's call will carry His presence with you all the time. His presence will be with you all the time. Verse 20b, Moses also took the staff of God in his hand. The staff of God was once a simple rod to help with his sheep. Like if they were naughty, then he can like whack them from over here, and they would get back into the group of sheep, right? And so that simple stick, God redeemed it, and is no longer just a shepherd's stick. It's no longer a shepherd of sheep, but it's a shepherd for God's people. And so when Moses goes back to Egypt, he doesn't just go empty-handed. He goes with the staff. And the staff is proof that the call does not require for you to be perfect, but it just requires for you to trust Him, to remember He will be there for you. Let's go back and think about the family and the storm, right? It's time to go. And don't go grabbing your Nintendo DS, honey, son. Like, leave that. The house is about to burn down. The house is about to be flooded. Don't go get your blanket, baby. Leave that. Oh, gotta get my Jordans. I gotta go get my cards, my sports. I have baseball cards. Sorry, guys. Shohei Ohtani. No, never mind. Okay, sorry, honey. No more cringy stuff. But don't go grabbing those random stuff. Get your essential things. Maybe your fishing pole. Get your essential things. Just put your shoes on and go. These are the essential things. Moses grabbed his essential thing, was the rod. It was the rod that was the miracle that God showed him, that I am with you. Take this and I will be with you. And that is the truth here. See, obedience is to trust God not only with the destination of where you are going, but also with the means of getting there, with the things that God is going to give you to go there. And so when he calls you, he will equip you to get the job done. Obedience is a humble movement. You know, after Moses failed to respond correctly and gave all these excuses to God, who am I? I am not worthy. I'm not good enough. Just pick anyone else besides me. Moses comes through for us. He comes through and he gives the right response. And he shows us how faith works in real life. He shows us that obedience, faith, honors relationship. Even while obeying God, obedience moves without fully explaining everything. Like, I just gotta go. Trusting God's wisdom. Obedience trusts God before clarity. Like, you don't know what's up there. If those guys that hated you back in the days are still there, but you're gonna go, trusting that God will provide the way. It's a step forward in faith. Obedience includes your family, my family, the whole household. Everyone's going to get impacted when you start to follow God. When you start to listen to God, it's not just going to be yourself. It's going to be your spouse. It's going to be your friends. It's going to be your family, your parents, everyone. He's moving. He's making that decision. Obedience carries what God has already placed in our hands. That's staff. Today, it might not be an actual staff. It might be the Word of God. It might be the Bible. It might be a song. It might be one verse. I've said this before. I took just one verse from the book of James to watch your tongue. Be careful about what you say from your mouth, what comes out of your heart. And for one whole year, I just worked on that. I was like, God is with me. I just got to work on this one thing. That is the right way to obey God. It's not, you don't have to be perfect, but you just have to be faithful. True obedience to God's call is faith in action. Is faith in action. And as we step forward, we discover that obedience will transform us, transform the people around us, so that we can finish what God has called.